This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. We were talking about this takeover.
Yes, sir.
This legacy balance takeover is what we were talking in the morning. Now, I'll take this data again in the down. Now, basically what will happen the moment you're in a project, let's say you're especially in any implementation project or a rollout project. At the end, you will have to migrate your client legacy data into SAP system. For migrating your client legacy data into SAP system, you need a trial balance. And this is how you will get a trial balance from your client. Your trial balance is always given in both currencies, a document currency and a local currency. Now, you may get a doubt why we will receive the trial balance in document currency. You will receive the trial balance in document currency because there are some GL accounts which are foreign currency based. Let's say I may have a bank account which is operated in Singapore dollars. What will be my account currency for that particular GL account?
Singapore dollar.
It will be Singapore dollar.
Yeah, for that
Now, if you're
particular.
right, if your client is operating a GL account in any foreign currency, that GL account currency will be foreign currency. Now, these foreign currency operated GL accounts or any foreign currency transaction will have to be uploaded in foreign currency only. If you upload a foreign currency transaction in local currency while doing data migration, you are wrong. Okay, you have to ensure that you will get the correct document currency and then local currency, group currency. Now, in the last session we discussed, do we generate any reports in document currency? Do we generate any report in document currency or we do not?
No, sir.
No, sir.
We will not generate any report in document currency. In short, no trial balance is generated for document currency, no trial balance, no P&L, no balance sheet. Because at a document currency level, we will not be able to do a total. Am I correct? You will
Right,
not
sir.
be able to match the account balance at a document currency level if there are different currencies. So we will not take any kind of a financial reports at document currency level. Instead, we always extract the reporting on local currency, group currency. So you need to make sure that document currency is given and the appropriate or equivalent local currency is shared. This is mandatory. And group currency, either they will give you the group currency amount or they will give you one exchange rate at which you have to convert local currency to group currency. Considering these facts, you have to prepare the trial balance and analyze that all the account balances are accurate. The first rule of your trial balance is what? To make sure that the account balance is becoming zero.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
This is the first rule. It has to become zero. If this is becoming zero, your trial balance is correct. And you can do further working on your trial balance. If this is not becoming zero, notify your client immediately, not after a day, not after 2 days. The moment you get the legacy data, especially the trial balance, open that file. It will be given in the Excel sheet. Do a total. Check if this is becoming zero or not. If this becomes zero, you are good to go. If not, you have to send it back to your client asking them to make it zero. You're not supposed to make it zero from your side. Alright, tomorrow you may get anything stating that no, in my file it is 35,000, but you uploaded 35,200. Why there is a mismatch of 200? Now you will have no reason to justify this. send it back to the client or ask your client to confirm on an email stating this account balance is supposed to be 35,200. Please change it accordingly. Let your user confirm to you on this over an email. Tomorrow, if something goes wrong, you should have some supporting to back you. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Clear? Now, once you get this, first thing that you'll have to do is look at the accounts from your trial balance. I'm not going in detail into the trial balance. Let's say if we take only these accounts, you have to look at the accounts in the trial balance. From this trial balance, you have to understand that you are able to classify the nature of account by looking at the account name. First one, if I look at, this is what account? Capital account. What is my capital? Balance sheet account or P&L account? First point that you'll have to see is balance sheet P&L. Let's say I have identified the first one, capital S, balance sheet. Okay. Second one is purchases.
P&L account.
P&L account. Now I'll add one more column here. Okay. I'll put account type. This is my balance sheet account. Purchases is my P&L account. Sales.
P&L account.
Sales is a P&L account. Salaries.
P&L account.
P&L account.
Salaries is a P&L account. Correct. Other income.
P&L account.
P&L account. Fixed assets.
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet. Bank loan.
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet.
Balance sheet. This is the first thing that you'll have to identify from your trial balance. Identify how many balance sheet accounts you have, how many P&L accounts you have. Now from here, P&L accounts are straightforward. P&L account what? Straightforward. When I say straightforward, we can directly upload P&L accounts. Now you have two types of balances. One is FT balance, the other one is YTD balance. What is FTM balance?
First of the month.
For the month.
This is for the month. What
End
is
of the
YTD?
End of the day.
YTD.
Year
This
to
is
date.
your year to date balance.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Now, if you are talking about P&L accounts, which balance do you need?
For the month.
For the month.
You need for the month or year to date?
For the month only.
Trial balance year to date.
Trial balance is always year to date balance. So your TB, especially when you get from your client for data migration or for legacy data upload, you will always get year to date balances. When I'm talking about year to date balances, let's say, assuming which month are we currently in? We are currently in April.
First month.
Okay, we are currently in April. Now, if I talk about April trial balance, first thing that you'll have to remember is your financial year. According to financial year, assuming April to March, April is which period, first or any other
First period.
number? What? First period.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm talking about April, do I get 1 month data or multiple months data?
Only 1 month data.
Only 1 month
Multiple
data I
months.
will get. If I'm talking about April to March financial year, and I am asking data in the month of April. When you talk about YTD, year to date, this is always fiscal year base. Okay. Now, according to financial year April to March, you will get 1 month data. Is this correct? Same thing if I put it here, but this time I will talk about IFRS Jan to December. According to Jan to December, is April first period?
Fourth
Fourth
period.
period.
Fourth period. YTD means, do you get 1 month data or 4 months data?
4 months data.
Here you will get 4 months data. Now, whenever you're talking about data, you have to keep one point in your mind, which is your reporting year. Okay, what is your reporting structure? What is your financial or fiscal year? If it is Jan to December, the way you take the data is different. If it is April to March, the way you take the data is different. Okay. Now, if assuming I am going live in the month of March or April, you will get the appropriate data. You will get the appropriate information. Now, there are two type of things. There is something called balance carry forward. Any idea what is balance carry forward? Anyone?
Yes, sir. P&L balance carry forward to balance sheet.
One fiscal
Last
year
year
to
was
another
what
fiscal.
this year, sir.
And what are the
Now,
open items that the
In
balance
SAP
needs to be
term,
carried forward?
hello.
yeah, go ahead.
In SAP term, return earning account.
Okay. Now, when you talk about balance carry forward, when this balance carry forward happens, is this happening during the year or is this happening at the end of the year?
End of the year, sir.
End of the
Ends of
year.
End of,
ends of the year, 31st of March
end of the year.
in India.
Okay, this happens at the end of the year. Now, at the end of the year, what actually will happen? Balance of one fiscal year is rolled up or carry forwarded to next fiscal year. Correct? From 1 year to the next year, your balances will get updated. Now, you have identified two type of accounts from your trial balance. What are those two type of accounts?
Profit and loss account, balance sheet.
Debit credit.
P&L account and then balance sheet accounts. This balance carry forward is applicable for P&L or for balance sheet?
P&L.
Balance sheet.
Applicable for P&L. This is not applicable. Why?
Liability side it will be applicable.
P&L is only
We
for
have
the
to,
expenses and incomes.
sir, here
Right.
we have to carry either a profit or loss to balance sheet or at liability side. We have to add as reserves and surplus, right?
Correct. Let's say I will take cash account, I will take bank account, I will take my stock. I'll take year 2022, I'll take year 2023. Now 2022, my cash balance is 1000, bank balance is 2000, stock is 3000. When I close my year 2022 and when I enter into an year 2023, which is next fiscal year, my cash balance should show previous year closing balance of 1000 or it should show 0.
No,
1000.
previous year
Previous
closing
year,
balance should be shown.
Right? The previous year closing balance must reflect on your 2023 1000.
Opening
Similarly,
balance, yeah.
for the bank, 2000 it has to show. For stock also
Yes.
3000 it has to show. Now
Yeah.
these three are what kind of accounts?
Balance.
These three are balance sheet account. Now let's put three more accounts. I'll put rent, I'll put salaries, I'll put other expenses. Now I'll say rent as 500, salaries as 600, other expense as 700. Now when I close my year, when I move on to the next year, which is 2023, if I look at 2023 salaries, 2023 rent, 2023 other expenses, should I get 500 again or I should get 0?
Zero.
0 1.
You have to get 0, right? Your P&L accounts are always year specific. You will start counting at the beginning, you will end counting at the end. And whatever the balance is left at the year end in your P&L account will be taken into retained earnings account on your balance sheet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. When you are defining chart of account, you are maintaining a particular setting called defined retained earning account in OB 53.
Yes.
Now
Yes, sir.
all your P&L account balances will be made 0 by taking the leftover amount into the retained earnings account.
Yes.
So tomorrow if somebody is asking you what will happen to your P&L account balances at the year end. So at the year end, all your P&L account balances will be made 0. All your P&L account balances will be made 0 and it will not become 0. Your P&L account will never become 0. It's very, very rare. Which means your P&L account balances either result a positive figure or result a negative figure.
Yeah.
Which
We'll
means
get
you
either
may get,
profit or loss.
yes, you will get either profit from P&L or loss from P&L. This profit or loss will be considered in your retained earnings account in your balance sheet.
Yes.
Now for this to happen, we are maintaining a dedicated setting at chart of account level. So based on your chart of account setting, you do not have to worry about your P&L account balances. Okay, these balances will be automatically considered in your balance sheet. Now, when it comes to balance sheet GL accounts, you have to ensure the accumulated balances are given or cumulative balance as on a particular month. If I am talking about April, I want the account balance of this particular month. Okay. On the other side, if I'm talking about P&L, I want account balance of a particular account of current year only. I don't want previous year balance. And when you pull any report, when you generate any report, when you're getting any ticket, especially on your P&L accounts, there is something called allocations. Any idea what is allocation?
Distributing.
Right? You will be distributing amount from one cost object to the other cost object or from one account to the other account. This will happen mostly for your P&L accounts. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
This will happen mostly for your P&L accounts. Now when you're doing so, you will get different errors or your client will get into different confusions. They might reach out to you asking, this allocation is not working fine, my cost or my revenue is not properly allocated, balances are not becoming 0. Now if you wanted to analyze that issue, if you wanted to fix that problem, first thing that you need is how to generate a report in SAP. If I'm talking about my allocation is not working, I must know that I have to generate which account and the balance of which period. Let's say my rent is not allocated properly. Rent is not allocated properly. If rent is allocated properly, what should ideally happen? Amount in the rent should become 0 and it is distributed to different departments also. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
If that did not happen, which represents something is wrong. So you need to check your transaction data, you need to check your configuration also. First thing that you'll have to start from is your configuration data or your transaction data. Which one we should start first?
Configuration.
First you have
Transaction.
to look at the transaction data. Look at how much value is posted in a particular month on which they did the settlement. If you are on April, the settlement must be executed for March. Correct? If you are on April, settlement must be executed for March. Look at
Yes,
the
yes.
March month transaction. How much is posted in March month? When you run the report, you will have three options: open items, cleared items, all items. Correct?
Yes.
Now it is very important for you to run this report at all accounts by giving the date range as 1st March to 31st March. Check whether you are getting 500 or not. If you see 500 is posted, now it is your turn to go back to the settlement or assessment allocation that they executed. Open that document, check how much is allocated, whether they reversed any transaction after allocation or whether they posted any transaction after allocation. Even if you miss out any small minute point, simple logic, you may end up not clearing that issue. Small points, small minor understandings will play a major role when you're in a project. And these small points are difficult to justify. Unless you're confident, it is very difficult for us to convince, justify, because any issue that is reported by your client, if you resolve the problem, it is not okay for them. They will ask you another question: why did this happen? Anybody who worked, is this correct? You will get another question: why this problem happened?
Yes, sir.
And some clients are even more strict or even more smart. They will ask what you did to solve this problem. They will tell that we have been doing this from last 2 years, last 3 years, but we never came across such kind of problem. Why this happened now? What went wrong? So they might ask different questions even after solving the problem. We cannot tell there is some technical issue, it happened. So some clients will say okay, some clients will not say okay, what is that technical problem? Will this happen again in next month? They might put different questions. So always remember, when you get any problem, when you get any issue, always understand that problem, try to see what is the root cause of it. When you give a solution, try to give them an answer with, because of this problem this happened. It is not that we have fixed the issue, please try now. That is wrong. Tell them that because of these reasons this issue had happened, we had rectified it now. No rule, there is no rule that you have to give solution what you have done, but at least give reason why the issue had happened, because the solution is your secret. You don't have to tell your secret how you resolve that problem, but notify them what went wrong so that they got into this problem. If you are able to respond, if you are able to give these kind of resolutions to your client, anybody will be okay with you. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you look at P&L accounts, this is always current year numbers. There is no carry forward numbers in this. Agree? P&L account always carries the current year number, because last year number will be made 0 by way of retained earnings account.
Yes.
Now from your trial balance, what you do, you just need to identify what are all the P&L accounts that you have. From this P&L account, you segregate two categories. Your P&L account has two categories. What are those two in P&L?
Expenses,
Expense and
income.
Expenses and incomes.
Incomes.
Your P&L will have expenses and then incomes. Now there is something called cost object. There is something called what? Cost object. Now to identify whether you need a cost object or you do not need a cost object, you have to first identify what are the cost elements. The first thing you identify if this is a cost element. If this GL account is used in controlling module, then you will call it as a cost element. If this GL account is not used in your controlling module, you call only as a GL account, you do not call it as a cost element.
Yes.
Find out cost element, yes, no, for all the GL accounts. Okay, how you will find out, I'll explain you in the upcoming sessions. Now if this is a cost object, which cost object is needed? Whether you need cost center, whether you need internal order, whether you need WBS element, or any other thing that you have to list out here. If this is income related, what is assigned?
Profit center.
You'll have to assign profit center or profitability analysis segment. Okay, either profit center or profitability analysis segment will be assigned in case of income. If this is not a cost element, I'll put this as yes, and incomes expense again. If this is no, if this is no, only PC, here also only PC. Clear? If your P&L expense account is a cost element, you must need cost object. When we say cost object, your expense account must be assigned to a cost center or an internal order or a WBS element. If your P&L account is income and it is a cost element, you must require profit center or profitability analysis information. In short, COPA related information.
Yes.
If your P&L account, income or expense, is not a cost element, it's just a GL account, you need profit center only. Okay, this information is mandatory. Make sure this information is clearly given by your client. Once you get this information, you are ready to upload your P&L accounts. To upload any P&L
Sir, only
account,
expenses is cost object.
yes, in your P&L only expenses and incomes. Because we are talking only about P&L accounts. After this, we will talk about balance sheet accounts. Okay, P&L is straightforward. Directly we can upload it. Now you will have to write accounting entry for loading these balances in SAP. Which accounting entry you are going to pass? For expenses, what will be the accounting entry? And for incomes, what will be the accounting entry? Normally, your expense account will reflect a positive balance or a negative balance.
positives.
Your expense account will show positive balance Any positive balance will be a debit or credit.
Debit.
Debit.
Any positive balance is a debit. In short, on your trial balance, all your expense accounts will be appearing on the debit side, or they will contain a positive number or a debit balance. While uploading the accounting entry, you have to put expense account debit. You will put expense account debit. Whatever the value is there on the trial balance, you will put that value here. Okay, from your trial balance, you are uploading expense. Your trial balance will only give you the expense line. Okay, trial balance will only give you expense line. Take this expense account, put it on the debit side. To complete this accounting entry, which side is missing?
Credit side missing.
Credit.
Credit side is missing. Now this credit side, we call it as offsetting account. Which account?
Yes.
We call
Offsetting.
it as offsetting account, because to complete the entry, I am missing credit side. Which account will I use on the credit side? I call it as offsetting account. Which account we will be using to bring legacy balances into SAP? What is that account name called?
Takeover account.
Data takeover.
Takeover.
Data takeover accounts or migration accounts or technical accounts. Let's say we will write takeover account. Which account we have to credit here? Takeover account
Take home.
credit.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
For any expense data migration, this will be your accounting entry. Take the expense account, put it on the debit side, and take the takeover account, put it on the credit side. Let us assume that we are going ahead only with one takeover account as of now. But when you are in a real environment, you will be having different takeover accounts. Expense takeover account will be a different GL account. Income takeover account will be a different GL account. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
But for practicing, for initial understanding, let us create only one GL account to understand. But when we practically do it, we will be creating multiple GL accounts. Since we are doing it only on the Excel sheet to get the logic, let us put single account for easier understanding. Now for income, income appears on which side of your trial balance, debit or credit?
Credit. Credit.
Income will be appearing on the credit side. Income will show positive balance or a negative balance.
Negative balance.
Negative
Negative
balance.
balance. It will show negative balance. It will be on the credit side. So in your accounting entry, should we debit the income or credit the income?
Credit the income.
Credit the
We
income.
have to credit. So I'll write income account credit. Now, which offsetting account you have to put on the debit side or on the credit side? Where should your offsetting will come?
Debit side.
Debit side.
Debit side, you need to write the offsetting account. What will be the
Yes.
offsetting account to bring legacy data into SAP? Takeover
Same.
account.
Take over account. Debit.
So you have to put
Yes, sir.
same thing. Takeover account debit. Takeover account debit, income account credit. This will be the accounting entry for all your income related items from your trial balance. Any doubt on these two accounting entries?
No, sir.
Now these accounting entries you will be questioned in your interview. Right? They'll ask you how do you migrate data from legacy system to SAP system, and first thing that they will expect from you is that you will use a term called a trial balance. You have to use the term called trial balance, first point. Then you have to use takeover account. Then you have to use accounting entries. You have to specifically tell that you will split your trial balance into two parts first. P&L account, balance sheet account. From your balance sheet account, you will take out assets, liabilities separately. From your P&L, you will take incomes, expenses separately. And
Yes.
from your P&L income expense, tell that you will classify cost elements, non-cost elements. For any cost element, if the cost element is expense, you need cost center, internal order, or WBS element. If your cost element is revenue related, you need profit center or COPA segment or profitability analysis segment. In short, for any cost element related information, you need cost object. What do we need?
Cost object.
You need cost object. You will have to use the same terminologies that we are talking now. If you use any other terminologies apart from this, like in general things, the assumption is that you may not have worked on a real environment. Don't give that impression,
Yes.
right? Now, if your
Yes.
accounts are not cost elements, these are only GL accounts, what we need is only profit center,
Profit center accounting.
right? So,
Yeah.
profit center is part of profit center is part of financial accounting. So, if somebody is telling, if it is not cost element, why do you need profit center? They may put cross questions like this also, right? If it is not a cost element, why we need profit center? We can directly upload without profit center. Then you'll have to tell profit center is part of financial accounting, and as per document splitting new GL functionality, profit center is mandatory for each and every transaction, irrespective of the nature. Asset, liability, income, expense, profit center is must. No profit center, no document in SAP.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Now, any doubt on how you will write accounting entry for your P&L account migration?
No,
See
sir.
this only from the accounting entry point of view. Identification of nature of account from your trial balance, and if it is an expense, what will be the entry? If it is an income, what will be the entry? What additional parameters you need, like your cost object. Clear with this?
Yes.
Sir, for this one,
Ajay, I have
document
one
typing,
doubt
right?
here. Yeah.
Okay.
See, in my project, like the document splitting has not been activated, and the client is only dealing with the cost centers. So in that cases, how we are going to
Then
migrate this?
document splitting not activated, you must be using ECC.
Yes, 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 that's correct.
You must be on classic GL accounting.
Yep.
Okay. So this is an exception case if your client is using SAP from long time and they have not upgraded to new GL and they are not on S4 HANA environment. You're right. You may not be activating profit center accounting as part of new GL functionality. In such case,
Yes.
cost center is required, but otherwise this profit center is mandatory.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now somebody asked a document type. Now for this we will be using a new document type. Now here again there are two approaches. One is single document type for all migration entries. Second one, different doc type for different migration entries. Let's say you have got how many type of accounts from your PNL we classified two.
Yes, sir.
Now to decide the document types we'll have to think through in a different way. One sec. What are the account types that you have? from SAP point of view, what are the account types you have? I will say
FCA, GL,
GL accounts,
GL account to
Vendor account,
AP,
customer account.
vendor,
AP,
customer,
accounts payable, accounts, yeah, vendor account, customer account, asset accounting,
material, asset.
material.
asset,
and
material.
contract.
In short, you call it as A, D, what is the sequence? K,
K
M,
A M.
S,
ADKMS. Yeah.
Yes,
ADKMS.
yes,
Now people might also ask you what is ADKMS. Alright. Now GL account is identified with what? What
yes,
is the
FCA,
account type? S.
S.
yes,
yes.
Vendor,
K.
A
K,
A,
K
customer,
D,
A D
D,
customer is D. Asset,
Capital
A,
A.
A,
M
material,
M.
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 M. Right? Now, clear with this account type and the single digit identification in SAP?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? Now, your takeover or migration doc type will begin from U series. Which series?
U series.
U series. Option number one, if you want to have single document type for migration entries, you may create, I may create like UD document, upload documents. Okay, if I want to go for one, I can create as UD upload document, or I can create as UE upload entry. Okay, if you wanted to go ahead with one, either you will use UE or you will use UD. Is this clear? Upload document as the description or upload entry as the description. Clear?
Yes,
Yes.
Now, if I want to go different document type for migration entries, if I am migrating GL documents or GL account balances, I will be using first digit will be U. So this will be U followed by how you are
US
identifying
yes,
US.
yes.
For vendor document,
UK
UK,
for customer,
UD,
UD
UD.
UAUM.
For asset,
UA,
UA, UM. This is
UM.
how you may create document type, or if you want common document type, you may create single called UE or US, sorry, UE or UD. But nowadays, majorly these kind of document types will be created. By looking at the document type itself, you will understand, okay, this is a customer migration entry, this is vendor migration entry, this is GL migration entry, this is asset migration entry. Clear?
Uh, yeah,
Yes,
Ajay,
sir.
is that customized part of document types? Like, is this a don't we have any standard kind of document types for this? For example, for the GL transaction, we have SA and KR and DR, such things.
No, this will not be the standard, this will be customized. We will be creating as part of configuration.
And again, it depends upon the client requirement, like which the series they wanted to create, like that, or it depends upon the client who is working on it.
It depends. It again has two things. Option number one, you may create different number series for these, or you may create single series for all these document types. The most appropriate solution is you will have single series document number for all. If your document number is starting from, let's say, 2, all this U series document numbers begin from 2.
Okay. Then is this subjected to change the document number ranges for the as an year-end activity?
No, because we are not going to post these entries once your implementation is completed, once your data migration is completed, these document types are not going to be used.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if we use this document type, it will lead to unwanted confusion. Because these document types are supposed to be used only for the initial data migration activity.
Clear, clear. Thank you.
And these document type total value should become 0 because these document types is used only for the migration purpose.
Yes, sir. Only this.
Only for the migration purpose. And now when you are doing migration, we are taking trial balance. Your trial balance is becoming 0, which means the entries that are uploaded through these document types should also become 0. In
Yes.
short, we are going to tally these document types with your takeover accounts. All the
Yes.
takeover accounts must contain only entries in this document type. If you pull out your takeover accounts altogether, the balance must be 0. And once your migration activity is completed, you are going to block all these takeover accounts so that nobody can pass the entry in this account. If any
Yes.
entry is posted in the takeover account after migration, will lead to serious reconciliation problems. Okay.
Yes.
Any doubt on this document type part, or is it clear?
Clear, clear.
It's clear.
It's
Clear,
clear,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Next one is your balance sheet accounts. From your balance sheet, what are the types that we have?
Assets and
First one
liabilities.
is your assets. Second one is your liabilities.
Liabilities.
Now, from assets, you have to again segregate. The way you segregated from expenses, cost element, non-cost element, income, cost element, non-cost element. Similarly, from your asset, you have to segregate. First one is your
Current assets.
recon or non-recon. Recon means a
Balance
reconciliation
carry.
account or a
Reconciliation.
non-reconciliation account.
Yeah.
Okay, what are your reconciliation accounts?
Vendor,
In
customer.
assets,
Vendor account.
assets,
Uh,
customer accounts,
yeah, assets and
Customer. Yeah.
and
Asset account.
fixed assets account.
Fixed
Is
assets.
this correct?
Yeah.
Any other reconciliation account in assets or only these two? What is the third reconciliation account?
Vendor.
Vendor. Vendor comes in liability side.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Now clear reconciliation part.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Next one, open, non-open. What is open, non-open?
Customer
Customer
Open
open.
Open
means
items.
items.
open items and non-open items. First segregation
Open
is
items.
reconciliation account, non-reconciliation account. You have classified what are the non-reconciliation, which means apart from this, everything is non-reconciliation account. Am I correct? In assets, if you take out customers, if you take out fixed assets, everything is non-reconciliation account, direct postings. Now you have to identify what are your open item managed GL accounts, what are your non-open item managed GL accounts. Let's say I will write bank accounts. Any other accounts?
Stock.
Stock is separate.
Cash.
Okay, let's put this bank, cash, Bank account, cash account, stock. These three are special accounts, or I'll say these five. These five will always have special treatment. Okay, after this you have to list open item managed GLs, and non-open item managed GLs. Now everybody know what is a customer account,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right? You have to get the list of customer. So here we will get the detailed breakup of all customer transactions, like your invoices, credit memos, advances, open payments. What and all you'll get? You will get open customer invoices, open customer credit memos, open customer advances, and then open payments in the customer account. It's not open payment. I'll put on account payments in your customer account. Clear? So all this information you will get at each customer wise, and sum of all the customer detailed transactions must agree with your accounts receivable balances on your balance sheet. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
In accounts receivable, whatever the balance I get, I should be able to match with the detailed breakup of customer wise transaction.
Yes.
Once you will be able to reconcile, you will be able to match the balances of your reconciliations in customer accounts and then your balance sheet accounts receivable accounts, then only you will be able to upload this.
Yes.
Now to upload customer, what will be the accounting entry?
Customer credited to
If now we talked about invoice, credit memo, advances, on account payment,
air balance credit.
right? Now let's say if you are uploading invoice, when you upload invoice, what is your customer account, debit or
Debit.
credit?
Debit.
Debit.
When you're doing invoice, your customer will be debit, your customer account will be debit, and credit will be by default which account?
Sales.
Sales. Revenue.
Yes.
Sales
Not
revenue.
sales. This
Yeah,
is
Here
what
data.
entry?
Your account.
data
Migration
migration.
account.
Yeah, migration
Take
account.
over.
Takeover account, credit.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you have any credits, any credit memos, in credit memo, where will be your customer, debit or credit?
Credit.
Your credit memo, customer will be credit. What will be debit?
Take over.
Take our account.
Take over account.
Takeover account will be debit. Let's say advance payment. For advance payment, where will be your customer, debit or credit?
Customer debit.
Credit card.
Credit account.
Credit.
Uh,
Customer account, credit with special GL indicator, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Take.
So let's say A or whatever, you'll have a special GL indicator, and debit will be your takeover account.
Take our.
yes. Yes.
Any on account payment, An account payment is nothing but payment received from the customer, but invoice details are not shared. You received payment from customer, but customer did not tell this payment is against which open invoice. So in such cases, you will not be able to identify the invoice. You are not supposed to assume the invoice. You will post this incoming payment as on account payment. For on account payment, it is the same entry again. Advance payment or on account payment same, but there will be no special GL indicator.
Okay.
Now this is your takeover for customer, but within the customer takeover, you have 4 type of entries.
Sir,
Yes.
could you please repeat once again, sir, on account?
Let's say I have 5 invoices with you. Invoice 1, invoice 2, invoice 3. Let's say 3 invoices I have. First invoice outstanding is 100. Second invoice outstanding is 200. Third invoice is 300. My total outstanding is 600.
Okay.
Okay, I have given you a payment of 400. I have given you a payment of 400, but I did not mention this 400 is against this invoice plus this invoice, or this invoice plus 100 partially here, or this plus 300 partially here, or 200 partially here. I did not given you anything. In short, there is no payment advice attached to the payment. Clear?
Yeah.
If you do not have
Yes.
any payment advice, you will not be able to map, you will not be able to link payment with the respective invoice. In
Okay.
such cases,
Got it.
you will record this as on account payment.
Yeah. Got it, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. You would have
Yeah.
heard something called unallocated payment or unadjusted credits. That is where you talk about on account payment.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Now, there may be something called partial payments. People might ask these kind of questions also. What if there are some partial payments? How do you handle these partial payments as part of your data migration? To do partial payment, what is needed?
Customer credit.
To do partial payment, first you need invoice entry.
Yes.
There should be open invoice. Against open invoice only you will be making payment. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So first I have to upload my open invoices. After
Yes.
uploading open invoices, my client will have to give me the detailed payment breakup. Let's say this invoice has a partial payment of X amount. These invoices are having the respective amounts in the partial payment. Accordingly, you will have to do it. Any partial payment is a manual upload. Any partial payment is what upload?
Manual upload.
Manual upload. Now, while posting a partial payment, can we do a manual entry?
Mm.
Yes, sir.
If there are if there are hundreds of payments, then not possible. Oh, sorry. This is customer, right? We have to post manually only, right?
Huh. But can we, when we post partial payment, what will be the accounting entry?
Incoming bank account data to customer.
Your entry will be bank debit, customer credit. Is this correct,
Yes.
everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Are we supposed to pass debit credit like this as part of data migration?
No.
We're not supposed to pass. So either you have to put only in the bank account or only in the customer account, because either debit or credit must be takeover account.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Right? So this entry is not possible. Then
Yes.
how you will handle partial payments in your data migration?
Can it be considered as advance payment?
So either you can consider as advance payment. First of all, how partial payments are treated or identified in SAP?
As a special GL
What?
transaction.
No.
There is a particular field to identify partial payment in SAP. This is again one more interview question. They might ask you how you are going to identify partial payments. Let's say you have one invoice. You have invoice of 1000. You made payment of 100, payment of 150, payment of 200, payment of 70, payment of, let's say, 300. So total how much? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 850, 920.
Correct.
So
Yes.
total 920 received. What is the outstanding, current outstanding on this invoice?
80.
80.
80 is
1000.
outstanding.
Yes.
Now these are all different payment entries. Let's say this payment is separate, this is separate, this is separate. Each payment is made maybe after 10 days, after a month, after 2 months. Now tomorrow you wanted to identify how many payments are made against this invoice and what is the current outstanding on this invoice. How you are going to identify from the system? First of all, how partial payments are identified in the system.
In the document type.
For everything, document type will be KZ only. Sorry, DZ only. These are all your customer payments, right? I'm
Yes.
not talking from the migration point of view. I'm talking in general. In general, partial payment point of view. Now, this is something again tricky point.
Yes.
ABL
You
5
have
లో
one in,
మనము in ABL 5 we see that open item, right?
correct?
Till it get cleared, we can see it open item only.
But you will have hundreds of open items for a particular customer. But your client is not going to do reporting only for one customer, right? If you have 100 customer, your reporting is for 100 customers.
No.
We will not be doing reporting based on customer wise. We will be doing reporting for all customers together. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, in such case, let's say there are lot of invoices, lot of payments, lot of part payments, advances. How do I know that this invoice has got 920 part payment so far? How your partial
Received.
payments are identified in SAP? There is a particular field. Payment is received against what?
Invoice.
Request.
Against
Invoice.
invoice.
That
No.
particular field starts from invoice only. Invoice.
Invoice reference field is there, sir.
Invoice reference field, correct. So you will have
Okay.
invoice reference field. This invoice reference field will help you identify the partial payment. Whenever you make any partial payment, your payment document will have a field called invoice reference. In the invoice
Yes.
reference, the original invoice number will be updated.
Okay.
On your FBL 5N or any customer line item report or your backend tables, BSID, BSAD, BSEG, if you go to invoice reference field, if you type the invoice number of this, you will get all these 9 payment documents or 6 payment documents. Okay, this is how your customer transactions, your customer payment scenarios will be there when you're in a project, when you're in any client. It's not that you post one invoice, you go to FBL51, you will find the invoice document line item, you make one payment, you will find. It is not 1:1, it is not straightforward.
Ajay,
May-
in one of my the project which I have worked, they have some validation and substitution in the invoice references. For example, if they have entered the same invoice number twice, the system will throw an error that it is a duplicate, that such kind of things. In such cases, how we are going to capture these partial payments? If,
if there is any validation, it's a custom checkpoint.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a custom checkpoint which we have done. So there may be a valid business requirement from your client.
That's true. So in such cases, we need to identify these things with the different fields like text or
No,
some
no,
other
no.
code.
So they may be using this for maybe a particular document type. They may be not allowing invoice reference for non-DZD documents or any other purpose, but without invoice reference field. Now this invoice reference is not a manual input when you are posting the payment. It is updated automatically by the system. They may put a validation. If you put manually, it will not be allowed. But when you make any partial payment, nowhere you are going to type invoice number. It is automatically updated by the system while posting the transaction.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Your validation will trigger when you are feeding anything manually.
Yeah.
Right? If you are keying in that invoice reference field manually, they may be stopping it.
Yes, actually, the validation is like the say, date and the document date and invoice the reference. If it is triggered twice and it's throw an error, like it should not enter. But as you said, that it will get triggered automatically. But one particular document type was typing manually due to some reasons.
Correct.
Clear, you can
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. Now this is how we will deal with partial payments. This is very important. Now against partial payment, there is another alternative payment. What is the alternative payment for partial payment?
Residual payments.
Residential payment.
Residual.
Residual payment. We will not use this.
Sir, please don't mind. What is the entry for this, sir? Partial payment for legacy data migration.
We will not do partial payment as part of legacy migration, because to do this partial payment, you have
Hmm.
to use two legs: bank account and your customer account.
Okay.
Right? So either you have to hit bank account alone or you have to hit customer account alone.
Okay.
Okay, any partial payment you will consider as on account payment. Without referring to the invoice, you will put it on the customer account.
Okay.
Okay. Now residual payment we will not be using. Most of these situations we will avoid residual payment because it will break the chain of your invoice and payment link.
Correct.
Once you make the residual payment, your original invoice will show as cleared and a new document number will get generated for the balance amount,
Remaining amount.
for the remaining amount. If somebody is asking you tomorrow, which one do you recommend, partial payment or a residual payment, upfront tell them that you will recommend partial payment. What if your client is reluctant to use partial payment, they want only residual payment? Tell that if you use residual payment, you cannot track the payment history. If you
Exactly.
want to track payment history, you must go with partial payment.
Yes.
Okay, so the same points, whatever we have written for customer as applicable for your vendor, opposite side.
Yes.
Okay, whatever we have written for customer is valid for your vendor. And next one, when it comes to fixed assets, here you have to classify fixed assets into two categorizations. One is
Correct. Yes.
current year and
Previous year.
Previous years. Out of your fixed asset list, out of the fixed asset register that you've received, you need to segregate fixed assets that are purchased in the current year, fixed assets that are purchased in the previous years. Treatment for previous year asset upload is different. Treatment for current year asset upload is different. You need asset capitalization date, you need asset acquisition value, you need asset depreciation starting dates, what is the depreciation posted till last year, what is the depreciation posted till current year. All this information you need in detail at each asset level. Okay, and later on these entries will be posted differently in ECC version. These entries will be posted differently in S4HANA version. The way you upload legacy values of fixed asset is different from ECC, is different in S4HANA. This we will do in detail later on, because if you see these two together without doing asset accounting will create a lot of confusion. So I'll explain this in a separate session in detail. And for bank you have both accounts together. You will have open item accounts, you will also have non-open item accounts, correct?
Yes.
Because if you're talking about bank accounts, we're talking about bank reconciliation statement also. To do bank reconciliation statement, you need the concept of main account and sub account. All your main accounts are non-open item managed and all your sub accounts are open item managed.
Yes.
And you have to upload all the open item managed, which is all the sub accounts, at open item level. At each transaction level you have to upload. For your main account, you will be only uploading the closing balance of your trial balance. Single line is posted for main account. Several lines at each transaction level is posted in your sub accounts. Okay. So in short, this will be takeover account, debit or credit to the bank respective account, bank incoming, bank outgoing, depending on the account balance and account transaction. Here we need the breakup of all the open transactions of bank main and sub GLs. Okay, and similarly for cash we need the closing cash balance, and this we will upload using petty cash screen, FBCJ. Okay, your cash balances are not uploaded through your journal entry, these are uploaded through petty cash. Everybody knows petty cash, FBCJ or cash journal.
Yes.
Your cash balance is uploaded in cash screen only. How we will upload, we will see in the upcoming sessions. Now stock, we will not post direct entry. So side we will do initial stock upload, which will trigger accounting entry automatically. Okay, so initial stock upload will be posted by the side. So they will take each material and they will put the quantity, the closing stock of each material, and your material will have either moving average price or standard price in the master, correct?
Yes.
Based on that price, the moment you put material, storage location, plant, and then the closing stock quantity, it will multiply that material with your material master price. It will take debit to the inventory account and the credit will go to your material migration or takeover account.
Yes.
Okay. And for all other open item GLs, like any other receivable kind of entries, or for any non-open item related GL accounts, you will get the data. For open item, transaction wise data is uploaded. Transaction wise data is uploaded. For non-open item, closing balance will be uploaded. So you will not bring the detailed breakup. Let's say if one account is having 10 transactions in my legacy system for 1000 rupees. I am not going to put the breakup of 1000 rupees. Instead, I will put only one line item as closing balance 1000.
Yes.
Okay. If it is an open item, I have to give the detailed breakup. If this 1000 is part of 10 transactions, I have to upload 10 entries. And similarly for your vendor account is same as your customer account. The way you uploaded
Yes.
customer, in the similar way you will be uploading your vendor.
When? Yes.
Vendor. And other accounts same like this: open item, non-open item.
Non-open item.
And your retained earnings account is part of this. Your retained earnings account is non-open item.
Non-open item. Yes.
Okay, so with this you will be able to pass all the entries in your balance sheet, assets and liability related things. So in short, if you take your trial balance like this, you must know how to analyze your trial balance, how to segregate your trial balance into different parts. And if you are able to explain this part clearly, confidently, only for your explanation you will get selected. Unless you work, unless you know the concept clearly, not possible for you to explain, not possible for you to talk about these topics. That if you mention that you were part of any implementation project, explanation on this data migration is mandatory. And this is the initial activity that we will be doing in our company code. Two activities that we have listed when we create the company code baseline configuration. First activity will be posting of journal entries, debit and credit from our side, and checking the P&L impact. This one, not this one. This one. We will be creating a company code. We will be posting the same entries. We will be checking these financial figures. First activity. Second activity, we will be taking another trial balance and we will load this to understand how your cutover accounting entries will be posted. Because any company code that you create in a real environment tomorrow, these are the two activities which will happen. This is your first activity, cutover. The second activity is your actual journal entries. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, even when you practice, you have to do the same way. Once you're clear with these 2 points, then you can play with your SAP as you want. You can experiment the way you want. But make sure you are injecting the proper way in your mind. So that tomorrow if somebody is asking, there are no things, there are no confusions in your mind, talk to them straightforward whatever we are discussing.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes.
Alright. Any questions on this?
Regarding this, I don't have any questions, sir. But my question is, are you taking classes twice a day?
Yes. Morning 7:30 and evening 9 o'clock.
It will be will it be continued, sir, for future?
Yes. So
Because
every day there will be 2 sessions.
yeah, okay,
Once we start baseline configuration, now whatever we are discussing is only overview sessions, which means
yes,
before you log into SAP, all these points you must be aware of. Only then, whatever we do in SAP, whatever we talk about in SAP, whatever the scenarios we will take in SAP will be clear and you will be able to understand. Straight away, if I open SAP screen, if I open company code, this is how you have to create a company code. You will only understand how to create company code. You will not
yes,
understand why we are company code and why we are doing all these settings. You have to keep this scenario in front of you. You are doing all your configurations to bring this data into your company code. For bringing this, whatever is needed, only those configuration steps we have to do.
yes,
Irrelevant, unrelated configuration steps you are not allowed to do even when you are in a project.
yes,
Whatever is the requirement, you have to configure according to that requirement only.
yes,
You may be aware of other configuration settings, but do not do it unless you are asked to do.
okay.
In
Sure,
short,
but
without
yeah,
requirement, you are not supposed to do anything. Go
yes,
ahead.
yeah, but Monday onwards I need to go to office, sir. So yeah, in the morning it is not possible for me.
No, one session will happen in the morning, one will be in the evening. If in case if you are not able to attend any session, you will get the recording on the same day. On weekends, we will be having exclusive doubts clarification sessions.
Okay,
Anything that you missed out on weekdays and you will be going through the recording. Any doubts, any confusions you have, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. If you have any confusion, I'll clarify. If you have any understanding related problems, you have any things, on weekends we will not be having regular session. On weekend it is exclusive doubts clarification on what topics we discussed during that week, during those 5 days.
okay,
Okay, on weekdays we'll be spending 2 to 3 hours only to clarify your doubts.
okay, okay, sir.
At what time you are going to take class on weekends?
Weekends it will be flexible, we will be connecting at everyone's convenient time.
And is this training included CO models as well? If I
Yes,
you
this
only
includes CO, product costing, COPA as well.
so we can mention that we aware that CO models as well completely if we go for I mean we can we able to attend interview for CO sessions after this
Correct.
training, right? Clear.
Yes. Any other questions?
For classes in
No, sir.
ECC or S4?
We will be doing both ECC and S4HANA, but the initial configuration that we start is your S4HANA. Wherever there are changes in S4HANA from ECC, we will open the screen on both ECC and S4HANA. I will show you what settings were there in ECC, what changes are there in S4HANA. Wherever there are changes, we will execute the same scenario both on ECC system and S4HANA system. I will
So how
tell you
many
while
classes?
executing each scenario, if there is any change on a particular scenario from ECC to S4HANA, I'll tell you what are those changes, and that scenario along with financial impact we will execute in ECC, we will execute in S4HANA. If there are no changes from ECC to S4HANA on any particular topic, we will be doing it on S4HANA only. You can practice the same thing on ECC server. You will not get any doubts. You will not get any problems because it is exactly the same.
The server which you have provided us to practice is that HANA or ECC?
HANA and ECC. I'll have some common users in my server.
Okay.
Okay, you can use those IDs for free of cost. But if you want any dedicated ID for yourself, then you'll have to purchase it. but I don't think you will have a need for it.
And what about that integrations parts? Will you teach that MMST and PP? What are the other modules integration we are going to learn in these sessions?
And ST we will be configuring. PP you will be doing as part of your COPA product costing, and PS, PM I will be telling you the integration points, because we will not be configuring PS modules, we will not be configuring PM module, but I will tell you when you run through PS cycle what you will have the impact on your financials, how your WBS elements will get posted, how you will do the settlement, how this settlement will affect your main project WBS element. Similarly, when you do the PM orders, how you are going to create the PM orders, at what stage you will get the cost hitting your financials.
Sir, is there any chance like FSCM and FPSL models training happen? I mean, not for this, any other times.
Maybe in future I'll take FSCM, your treasury management.
Oh, FPSL, and actually I have some. I mean, my manager is asking me to learn that FSCM, so I'm just planning for that. So I'm asking.
Now the point that you'll have to remember here is the way we are going to learn here your FICO, the way I teach you, with that approach you can learn any module on your own. You don't have to depend on any trainer.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay,
how many
so on,
how
go
many
ahead.
classes have been done, sir, so far?
This is 11th class,
Okay. We
but these
have to
are
know all these basics, right?
all these basics you have to know. All these 11 sessions are on YouTube, you can go through,
Okay, sir.
and your actual first class is yet to begin.
Okay.
Okay, so before I log into SAP, I want everybody to aware of these points. Connecting to these points, my sessions will be started.
Okay.
So, sir,
Okay,
after once you start the actual classes, then what about that videos that you will provide us a link, or you are going to upload the same thing in YouTube?
no, you will get the links on the same day. You will get the recording links, you'll have to download it.
Download to our personal
Yeah,
things.
your personal thing. You'll get the link,
Okay,
you can download directly from the link.
okay, okay. Clear.
Okay, because I do not depend on the recordings, and I do not give offline recorded trainings.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
any
you, sir.
other
Thank you.
questions? No.
Nothing, sir.
No,
Duration of
no, sir.
the course, 3 months, right? Yes, yes, sir.
It takes 4 months to complete all the topics, but you will be trained until you get a job in SAP.
Okay.
That's very
In
nice.
short, you will be with me until you get a job in SAP FICO. Forget the duration.
Yeah.
Actually,
Anytime.
I'm already working as a consultant. When I messaged you, in such
Yeah,
cases, can I able to connect you through WhatsApp if I get any doubt on my real time projects?
yes, you can connect.
Yes, yes. Thank
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, we can close.
No, sir. Good night, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good night. So
Good night,
Thank
tomorrow
sir.
you.
we'll be connecting